Not long ago, I picked up this ruler from the estate sale of a fellow quilter. It seemed kind of complicated. I mean, that's a lot to cram into one ruler. But we can do hard things, right? Well, time went on and I hadn't really touched it. But then I realized it could be just the thing to help me finish up this block of the month from 2025 called Sweater Weather. I love to use up scraps from the front of a quilt on the back. Waste not, want not, you know? So far, I'd mostly done improv piecing with trimmings, but I still had a small mountain of scraps and yardage, so I thought it was time for bigger blocks. I decided to try an 8-inch kaleidoscope block, which meant I'd need strips that were 4.5 inches wide. To get those, the instructions say to layer your Kaleido-Ruler on your fabric and then align another ruler for cutting. But why, though? Couldn't I just cut a 4.5-inch strip? Yeah. This feels right. Alright, next we use one point of the ruler to cut the first set of triangles. So, up one side, and the ever awkward down the other. Okay, 1 down, 3 to go. Triangle number 2, no, that won't work. Let's turn this around here and try from this direction. My ambidextrous brain sometimes tells me to do a thing one way, but practically, since my rotary cutter is right-handed, and I love it so, it doesn't actually work that way, you know? Just me? Meh. Alright, now that things are going in the right direction, we've got our first 4 triangles, and it's time to move on to the background triangles. These are pretty straightforward, and we end up with 8 triangles. I just want to lay them out really quickly to make sure things are looking like they should. So now we need our corner triangles, and it looks like they want us to use that same double ruler technique to get the width right. So let's give it a try this time. Okay, so I'm lining it up with the 8-inch block, but this does not look correct. What is happening? Hold on, let's look. Alright. Well, okay, so that's what I'm looking for. I want it to be the right width so that I can use the other corner to cut the triangles, but it's not. That's not right. It should be here, and so my strip is too wide. Okay. Alright, so let me look at this again. This is 8 inches. But no, that's not right. Okay, hold on. Oh, I see. Okay, so maybe I actually have to turn this around and then line it up with 8 inches. Yes, okay. So now let me grab my other ruler and butt that up against this one. Then I can move the Kaleido-Ruler and trim. Alright, let's see. Is this gonna actually work? Ha 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 ha. Okay, so now we've got 2 corner triangles. And we need 2 more. Oh. Let's see. Are we gonna be okay with this? Look at this. Look. Oof. Well, you know what? We are gonna be okay with it because it's a scrappy back. That will all come out in the seam allowance. So now we just have to sew these triangles to the, what would be our main print fabric. So, off to my trusty Bernina to sew on those corner triangles. And I always like to use leaders and enders. So now we've got those sewn on, and it's time for the backing triangle to be added so that we have our first quadrant. So I'm going to sew that on to each one along one side. That's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to sew that, zip, zip, zip. And I like to chain piece my pieces when I can. So here we go. There's a chain of pieces for you. And to the pressing station to get my quadrants ironed out. So far, this is working pretty well. I think that this block is going to turn out nicely. What do you think? Is this a ruler that you would use? do you have this ruler? 2 quadrants down, 3, and oh, why does this one look different? Well, oh geez, did I sew this wrong? I think I did. Hold on. Let me put these out so that they are looking, I think. Oh, no, that's wrong. Alright, well, you know what? It wouldn't be me sewing if we didn't have to spend some time with our seam ripper, but that's okay. It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. I am not perfect. So, I'm going to sew this on correctly and see if that is better. I think, yeah, that's going to do it. Now we've got 4 quadrants that go together as they should. So now I'm just going to sew this quadrant to this quadrant and like that to make halves. And here they are. So we're going to press those out. Get our halves nice and flat. Ah, so warm. Okay, so now I'm going to sew those halves, nest my seams, and get those sewn together. And now that we have that, I can press our whole block. And this center is not terrible, really, for as many seams are coming together. I'm not mad at that. Not mad at that at all. And it came out to 8.5, which is what I want. Now these other blocks I've been piecing together, so I'm just gonna, I don't know which way, I think this is the way I want them to go, yeah. So I'm gonna sew those together, and that's the beginning of a strip. Let's see what else I can add to make that the same length as the rest of this backing. So here we go. What do you think? Is this a ruler that you would want to pick up? Do you already have this ruler? Was it as hard for you to work as it is for me? Well, thanks for coming along on the adventure with me. I hope you had fun. Y'all be good.